don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street. There's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everything else in between. Welcome. This is the 553rd episode of the Political Spotlight. I'm your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. Producer Kate is doing her thing, making sure that the show runs smoothly. You're all here. Hello, Robert. Hello, Admiral. Hello, Joe. Hello, Brenda. Hello, Les. Hello, Danny. Who else was here? Can't see anybody else at the moment. 6-4 to write extensive study, recommending a 3-way 120-50 watt light bulb, 1 to write. Oh, you're asking a question. How many city planners does it take to screw in a light bulb? 6-4 to write an extensive study recommending a 3-way 250 watt light bulb, 1 to write an article in the newspaper praising the study, and 1 to put in a 10 watt bulb instead. Absolutely. That's exactly. Here's the joke. You know what was it? Was it Bob and Tom? I don't know, where they used to fix the joke. Someone would write in and they would fix the joke. I can fix this joke, and the fixing the joke is how many city or county or town or whatever, how many elected people, we'll just say city officials, how many city officials does it take to screw the constituents? All of them. That's all they do. End of joke. Wah, wah. Let's see if we can. I'm always way behind on this. All of them, all the time. That's all they do. End of joke. Oh no, that was applause. Aren't there laughs on here? Are there laughs? Oh yeah. All of them. That's all they do. End of joke. Stop. They just go on. Stop. Ah, God. See, that one goes too long. The applause is really short. Let's see. No, that's crazy. The laugh just goes and goes and goes. It's crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I'll be perfectly honest. It's Thursday. I very seriously considered canceling this episode because as it happens periodically, and it just happens, there's not a lot really going on that like we could talk about. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on nationally, and it's just it all sucks. Like I'm tired of seeing it and hearing it already. It's all bad. It's not good. There's a lot of crazy shit going on. There's obviously a lot going on locally, but we're kind of in the the period where it's like hurry up and wait and see what happens. Something's got to happen here, something's got to happen there before we can really move forward with much. There's a lot of things going on at the State House, but we're still in that period there because the special session got called, and they're still considering that it was called. However, it's been put on hold. They're not going to do it until after the new session, the 2026 session, organizational day, which is November 18th. And they're not going to actually meet at the State House until, I think they said, either the 1st or the 3rd of December. And so it's not really a special session. So there's not a whole lot going on there. Of course, we continue to hear and we continue to get information stating that they don't have the votes. The votes are just not there. So I don't even know. I don't know what's going to happen there. It's going to be crazy. I actually think that I'm going to go down there for the first. What I might do. What I might do is that week, I might go get a hotel in Indy, and I might stay down there that week and go to the State House because I hate driving back and forth. That's just a pain in the ass. And if I've got to like get up and you drive at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm just going to tell you I'm not going to do it. So like the only way it could really happen is if I got a hotel and stayed down there and did the show live from Indy each evening, and maybe I could get like a really good backdrop, do it, whatever down there. But I'm thinking about going down there and actually being part of it. And watching what happens during the first 2 weeks, because it's going to be a big deal, because I don't know what they're going to do. It's going to be really crazy because the votes aren't there. I don't believe the votes are there. I don't believe it's there. And I just think it's going to be a shit show, and I can't wait to watch it and take part. But that's still a couple of weeks out. So we're just kind of in a weird hurry up and wait. I did file my record requests today for the information. I will tell you, I have talked to sources at City Hall, and the sources that I've talked to at City Hall have said that we have gotten a little bit more to the story. Remember talking about the fact that Nora Powell said that there was overage, that there were a couple of department heads that were being paid over the salary ordinance. Then Amber Green came out and said, oh, no, that's wrong. Here's what's going on. Well, the plot thickens. Allegedly, Nora has now said, oh, no, I wasn't talking about 2025. I was talking about 2024. Now, I've never heard her mention 2024. I never heard Nora mention that. And to give credit to Amber, or at least what Amber's stating in her pushback against Nora, first off, I don't know why we would be talking about 2024. We are in 2025, currently living in 2025, where these people are getting paid in 2025. And over the last month and a half, we've been talking about the 2026 budget. So we would be specifically looking at 2025 and then specifically talking about the budget for next year, I don't know how any issues with 2024 would have come up. Now, I did not, at the time that I issued the records request, ask for any documents pertaining to 2024. So now tomorrow, I'm going to have to issue a record request for the same documents, but for 2024. And we will have to look at that. Moreover, though, that does not explain why Nora Powell and Dan Ridenour and the controllers have talked about the fact that there were appropriations needed for 2025, and Ridenour said that he was going to put them forward before the end of the year. So I don't know. Now, I have a very, very heartbreaking thing to tell you all. And this is something that I have been dealing with for the last couple of days. And I've been so, because this is something normally I would have brought up to Kate when it first happened and been like, what the hell? And talking to Brandon and Kate about it. But when I found it, I literally like went into like a crack up mode. I just completely lost my brain, and I've been freaking out. I've been talking to some tech people. So I've got 3 computers in front of me right here. I've got my main computer, my Mac. I've got a Windows laptop and a Mac laptop. I have on order, on way, another Mac just like this that I'm actually going to set up here. And then I'm going to take one of the laptops to my grandparents and leave it there for if I ever have to go live from there or whatever. So I don't have to move stuff back and forth, and I'll have stuff to work on there that I just can leave there. And then I obviously have my cell phone. And I have access to my emails, obviously, on all of my devices. Somehow, something happened to my Kristopher Bilbrey email, to my khbilbrey@gmail.com. And everything was deleted out of that email. Every single thing. Absolutely everything was deleted out of that email. Every single sent email I've ever sent, every single trash, every single inbox message, and I had about 9,000 inbox messages. Everything that I have read, and it was in my read box, everything is gone. Now, this has been we're about 3 weeks into this dilemma. When I first recognized this, I was like, I can't even remember what I lost. Like, I don't even have an understanding. I mean, I've lost some stuff that I really should not have lost in my email. And part of me was Google? Oh no, don't turn my phone on. That turned my phone on. Those G people, is that who you're talking about, Kate? All right, I'm going to have to do that. So part of me, when I noticed it, I like freaked out. I was like, oh no. And then a part of me felt almost relieved. I was like, I lost now I can start all over and I can stay on track of it and not let it get so crazy. But I've slowly, over the last couple of days and weeks, been thinking about stuff. Like, so for example, I lost all of the emails that I just had requested. Joe Black, that's hilarious. Alexa, play. Hey Siri, how far is it to London, England? So no, I maybe I'll talk to Kate about this after we get off the show, what I need to do, because I've kind of been in freak out mode about it. But I've been going, I've just been like saying, hey, look, if it's gone, it's gone. I can't worry about it. Admiral. If it's gone, it's gone. I'm not going to stress it. But yeah, I'm just I don't know. Like I don't even have an understanding of what all I've lost. I mean, I've had this email since 2012. So that's okay. Kate just sent me the Gmail message recovery tool. Thank you for that. I will check into that as soon as we're off here. That's a very good thing to have. So that happened. Well, and so the reason I'm telling you that is you've got 30 days. Okay, I'm still within my time. So okay, but it's cutting it close. So I will do that. I'll do that today, tonight, tomorrow. I'll make sure that we're there. So so the reason I bring that up, because it is what it is. But the reason I brought that up is because, like, I lost the emails that I had just requested from the city and from the council. So, like, I can't go in there and show you these. Now, I am on Nora's council page, and I'm attempting to go back here and look, because what I'm specifically looking for is, and you remember it because you brought it up to me. There's an email from Dan Ridenauer to Nora where Dan has told Nora and the rest of the council that he will deal with the appropriations sometime before the end of the year. And I was just thinking, I think I may have opened it up and showed that email on an episode. So if nothing doing that, so it's kind of like whatever. I mean, I can always do that, but so that's that. Now I can go back and look at there. I'm looking here real quick. Give me just a second as I'm looking here for these emails that Nora has put up on her social media. There's from Dan Ridenauer. Give me 1 second, because this might be it. Okay, I was not copied on an email to department heads from finance chair, so wasn't aware of the question until recently. For simplicity, I will be responding to these questions on behalf of the department leaders, so don't expect answers from them directly. The working foreman and foreman in parks are the same positions. Salary ordinance has one title, budget has another. It's just one position. Question answer: yes, there were 26 pays in 2024 and 2025. Question answer: one question that seems to be common item is the cost salary increases from one year to another. I view things from a total budget spectrum, not department. So I will respond for the departments. Okay, that's not total. I'm certain that the council understands that cutting salaries simply makes the retention and recruitment of employees a bigger challenge than it already is. I'm hopeful that the city council will not be making reductions in pay. This type of action can lead us down to okay. So that is not the email that I was looking for. Okay. That is not the email I'm looking for. And let me see here. Okay, that is not. So I went through there. That's one of her email. That's one of her email groups. So let me look here in the other, because this is really important in my mind. Okay. Let's see. What's this one? This might be it. Let's see. Wednesday, September 24th. I don't want to confuse anyone. It shows the first section of the premiums. In addition, since I became mayor, we've added a clause which we agreed all three bargaining units agreements so that the employees share the up or down of premiums. Such an idiot. This is the one where he says that he never breaks promises when talking about the budget. However, he broke the very first promise he ever made concerning the budget when he said to have it always to the council by the beginning of July, and then to work with them on it, and that's never ever happened. That's funny. And then this is the one where he said, lastly, I was never asked to this meeting, so I was surprised to find that my absence was such a big deal. What a turd. Okay, so it wasn't that. It wasn't that one. So I'm hoping that if we go back, we'll be able to find... okay, nothing there. I'm hoping our next one will tell us. The more you know. Let's see if we got something from here. No, you know what I'm going to have to do? I'm just going to have to... I'm going to just have to... probably request them from her again, which I hate doing, but I will do it. Let me look down here and see if there's one more. Doesn't look like it. No, so she didn't post them. So I will go back and see if I posted them in on the website. Or in our episodes, rather, excuse me, not the website, on our episodes. If I posted it in the last episode, I will go back and look, and if I did, then we can pull it that way. If I didn't, I will request it from her, and we'll go about it that way. But I'm very interested because, like I said, there's the situation with the appropriations, which I'm not even saying that's the same situation as what she's originally talking about. I just want to know, because I was under the understanding that the Ridenhour administration was going to send that stuff to the council in October and talk about it in October and November, but then they didn't do it in October. And then here we are past the November meeting and they didn't do it in November. So I will keep you posted on that and I'll let you know. Okay. Folks, this is going to be a very open show. Like I said, I don't have much to discuss. It's going to be kind of a free association thing. I always think it's the worst shows. You guys always say that they're some of the best. I doubt this is going to be one of those, but we'll just we'll go along with it and see what happens here. I want to tell you guys a crazy thing. And this is something that is big. It's something that I've been following and I've been very concerned about. And it's something that people that care about the First Amendment should definitely care about. So I feel I kind of go back and forth, and I feel conflicted about what I'm getting ready to talk about because, so number one, as we always say, I'm not a journalist. We're not journalists here. We don't do journalism in the way that I think. I hold the phrase journalism to a very high standard. And the people that I feel that practice journalism and should practice journalism, I hold that to a very high level. I feel like 90% of everything that people look for as journalism now isn't journalism. It's all opinion. It's all people's opinion on things. It's all variations of what I do, and some far more professional, some far less professional, and everywhere in between. But I hold people that are considered journalists and the people that I actually consider journalists, I hold them to a higher standard. That being said, I do fully believe that I fall under the umbrella of media. I feel that way. I have no problem saying I am a member of the local media, of the state media, whatever. I have no problem saying that. I consider myself and what we do here. This is a job. This is what I do, and this is a full-time thing here. So this is not like just a hobby. So I do consider this. I do take this serious. I know some people probably think that's a joke, and I wanna say here, the reason, and I have a lot of people that reach out and say, "Hey, I want to come on," or "Let me come on," and the reason I don't just say, "Oh yeah, okay," is because I don't look at this as just I don't look at it as a joke. And we do a bunch of goofy stuff here and it is what it is, but I take this serious. I don't just run with every little bit of information. I look to find as much factual information as I can, and I try to hold it to as high a standard as possible while understanding that I consider myself a political commentator and I'm giving you my thoughts and my opinions based on the information that I'm talking about. As far as people demanding quote unquote press pass, media pass, things like that, I feel very confident in telling anybody that would ever ask that, yeah, my press pass, my press credentials is it's like very simple. It's everybody should have no problem understanding the press pass, and everybody should fully be able to understand it. And it's clear. My press pass is simple, and it is that no Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. That is my press credentials, in my opinion. And if somebody doesn't like that, I guess you could take it up with my attorney or the judge that we will be in front of if you push me on it. Okay, I feel very strongly about that. That being said, and we have to, I want to be very clear here. In the state of Indiana, and in most states, I don't really know. I don't know of a state that does it differently. Maybe New York could. Maybe the city of New York does something. I don't know. There aren't press passes. There's not something that someone gets out of school. They went to Ball State for journalism. They get out. They get their degree, and they apply to the state, and they get their state of Indiana press credentials. What happens is somebody goes and writes for the Star Press, and the Star Press gives them a little ID card like this right here. Like, it looks like a driver's license, and it says, so-and-so started working for, it's kind of like police ID. John Doe started working for the Star Press or for the Herald Bulletin or for the News Regret or whatever on such and such a date. And maybe they put a picture of them on there. Maybe they don't. Maybe they put their date of birth or some kind of ID number. Maybe they have them sign it. Maybe they don't. That's that person's quote unquote press ID, press credentials. If they're going to go do something or cover something for their work or for the newspaper, if somebody goes and works at WTHR, they get a little ID that says this person works for WTHR or Fox News or the Indy Star or whatever. That's the press credentials that those people have given to them by their employer. Okay, that's that. Matter of fact, I'll show you this. I had this made up long ago as a joke when I was doing Perception is Reality. This is what this is. Press pass. There's a picture of me. Perception is Reality with Kristopher H. Bilbrey. It's kind of a joke. I had it made up. Okay. That's what it is. I took that out of the house a couple times. Other than that, it basically stayed there. I had it hanging on a thing in my car. It was, whatever. I have been given press credentials for a lot of high level important events. I've been given press credentials to get into press conferences and news events for the U.S. attorney for the Indiana, the Southern District Court of Indiana. I've been given press credentials. I was cleared by Secret Service and the White House and got press credentials to enter into the area when Donald Trump came to Indianapolis during the NRA convention in April of 2019. And I've been given credentials along the way in of different times. And basically those expire. They give them to you, you hang on to them, you throw them off in the corner. Anybody that's been doing any kind of news or radio or whatever for any length of time and have done things, you get a whole bunch of collection of these things. Now, those don't get you into anything else. They get you into that one event, that time. It's normally got the time and date on it. And once that's over, it's over. One of the big fights I got into with a lot of people right after Riding Hour 1 in 2019 was that the city of Muncie would always notify me of when they would hold the press conferences and things. And I would always be there to live stream it and to put it out. And I had told Riding Hour that I expected that to continue through his administration. And Nancy Lindell, his first HR director, who he was having handled that kind of stuff, she was fighting against me on that, and she was making him reach back and ask me, like, what are your credentials? Where, what gives you the ability to get this? And I'm like, what do you mean? So it's crazy, whatever. Well, over time, whatever kind of a joke this is to people, bigger people than them have found it necessary to allow us to be credentialed. And so I was contacted by an individual back some time ago. It's been a long time. And was told that I needed to apply for a media credentials with the Indiana State House. And I did so. I did just that. And I applied for that. And you apply to the IDOA, which is the Indiana Department of Administration inside the State House. They review your application. They make sure that, you know, something crazy is not going on, and they give that to you. And this is it. This is what this is. It's only they're good for. They're normally good for 1 year at a time. And you have to go in and get them renewed every August 1st. The year starts for them on August 1st for whatever reason. Now this year, they stopped that, and they said they won't redo it until August 1st of 2026 because they're redoing some things down there. But this is what it looks like. I've shown this before. It just says State of Indiana Media, Kristopher Bilbrey, the political spotlight, and this does exactly nothing. Doesn't do anything cool. You don't get a speed. You don't get to shoot people. I'm not arresting people with this. I don't get into anything cool. It does exactly nothing. Matter of fact, the only thing it does is get me into one of the worst places in the world, the State House. It's like not fun. It's the exact opposite. And it does look like something you could make at home. Now, I mean, the thing is, it's a legitimate thing. It's a hard plastic ID card. They make it there. They've got the little blue tarp on the wall, like at the BMV. They have you set in front of it. I'm like, am I supposed to smile or not smile? And they're like, this isn't the BMV. You can smile if you want. So it is what it is. Yeah, well, the review procedure isn't, because I'm going to talk about that here in just a second and tell you kind of what the deal is. I'm leading you up to a story here for a reason. There's a story here. So, let me pull this up here. So if you Google Indiana State House media credentials and you go to the media and public information, Indiana Department of Administration. What is going on there? It says media request. All media requests for information or interviews must be requested through our Director of Communications. Address inquiries to Director of Communications, Indiana Department of Administration. All public record requests to the Indiana Department of Administration from citizens must be requested through the online app or portal here. And there's a link for that. And then down at the bottom, it says media badge requests. To request a media badge, please complete the credential and access request form here and submit it to our media relation team via this email. Once submitted, an authorized representative from the Indiana Department of Administration will review your request and forward it to the Access Control Office upon approval. Access Control Office is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 3:30. When picking up your badge, please bring, and I hate anybody that calls this a badge. It's not a badge. It's an ID card. I wish they'd call it that. When picking up your ID card, please bring a valid driver's license and state-issued ID. For your identity verification, you will be required to sign for the badge, and the staff member will take your photo at the time of issuance. The fee is $10. Please make note, payments are accepted in cash or check only. Credit and debit cards cannot be processed at this time. And then there's like a whole bunch of things that go along with it. It tells you essentially, let's see here. So this is what it looks like. I pulled it out of the little thing. It's a plastic card. It's got some crap on the back. Says this card is the property of the state of Indiana and for the exclusive use of the person listed on the front of the card. Any use by another person is prohibited. Badge will expire every year on August 1st. Please contact the governor's press office in June to renew your badge. If found, please return to the Indiana State Department of Administration, Access Control Office, postage guaranteed. And then it's got like a little number on there and, what happens. Now, I believe I've not even ever done this because the doors have always been open anytime I've been down there. But I believe, by what I feel here, that if I hold this up to a door down at the State House, that it opens. There's a couple doors I believe that it opens. Okay. And then here's another one that I had a while back. And this was the U.S. Press Association. This is basically nonsensical. Okay. But I always keep that in there anyways, whatever. Okay. So, bottom line is, when I was contacted and told that, like, hey, I should apply for this and yada, 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 I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I went to the form, and the form looks like this. I'm going to show you. I'll pull up this form and show you this. There's a reason I'm talking to you about all this. Stand by. We're getting there. Well, I'm definitely not pro their agenda, and listen, I will tell you this. Since Braun's been in, they are really ratcheting down on this. Braun is not a fan of people getting in. That's just the God's honest truth. So here's the form. Okay. Applicant information, date, month, identification number, name, position, name of the media outlet, address, email, name of supervisor. Is the request a new card, a lost or stolen card, access change, replacement card, card renewal, card expires on August 1st of each year, reason for request, applicant responsibilities, they sign it, and then this is for office use. State House, Indiana Government Center North, Rotunda. Should parking access be allowed? Hours of access, Monday through Friday, 6 to 6, or 24 hours, 7 days a week. Access control office use, photo identification checked, type of photo identification used, and then you sign off on it. And that's it. You fill this out, you send it in, boom, bang, pow. There you go. Okay. So last week, let me get that off there. What is going on? Okay, there we go. Sorry. Last week, the Indiana State Senator Greg Goode, I don't, his name's Goode, Greg Goode, I believe is how he pronounces it. He's from District 38. He was holding a listening session down in Terre Haute about this redistricting nonsense. And there were several news media personalities that were down in the area and wanting to be there. Tony Katz from 93.1 WIBC was there. Kayla Dwyer was there. And one of my friends and a very, very big upcoming media journalistic person is coming up. Now, I before I drop this, I go back and forth. I feel that these folks that I'm getting ready to talk to you about do more journalism than what I do. They definitely do more journalism, but a lot of it is still opinion. But they do a lot of hard journalism too. So it's kind of like a half and half, basically. There, they do cover opinion pieces, but then they also cover hard journalistic information as well. And that's indie reporter Stephen Whitmer, Slick Witty. And he's been on here and commented before. Some of you guys know him. So I don't know if everybody does. They basically do what they do on Twitter. That's where they put out all their information. And then on Tuesdays and on Saturdays, he does a YouTube show, and basically where he talks about the state of Indiana and really Indianapolis type content. It really started with Indiana, Indianapolis as a city, kind of like what I do locally around here as well. And then it kind of spread to the State House, and he's doing a lot of great work. Like me, he's appeared on 93.1 with Rob Kendall, and he's done a lot of great work. Stephen Whitmer's like the face of the entity, Indie Reporter, but there's Stephen, and then there are a couple of other people that are involved. And Witty had contacted Greg Gode's people and said, "Hey, I want to come down there and participate in this, and I'm going to be there, and I just want to let you guys know that." And he received an email back saying, "That's great. Everything's great. Everything's wonderful. Come on down." They gave him the okay. And he showed up. He showed up down there, and he tells this story on his own show the other night. He's like, I showed up there, and the very first thing I see is an Illinois vehicle, a plate come through, and the person that gets out of the Illinois vehicle is from I think the New York Times. It was like a national news entity. And he's like, okay. And then Kayla Dwyer got there, and Tony Katz got there, and they went in. They let him in through the door. They all go in through the door. They all go in through this metal detector, and then they get up there, and he and Kayla Dwyer were talking. And like 5 minutes after walking in, a police officer walks up to him and says, "Hey, who are you?" And he says who he is, and he says, "Who are you with?" And he tells him, "Indie Reporter." And the officer says, "You got to go." And he left. He didn't have quote unquote any press credentials. But he left. He didn't cause a stink. He just left. And that was that. He left, and he posted about it, and some people were like, well, look, you're not from Terre Haute, and it specifically said you have to be from Terre Haute. And his response back to that was, Tony Katz is not from Terre Haute. Kayla Dwyer's not from Terre Haute. The guy from Illinois is not from Terre Haute. But they were all allowed to be there and to stay there. Well, I think he was talking to Rob Kendall, and Rob Kendall, I think, told him to reach out to me. He's like, hey, Bilbrey's dealt with this. Get in contact with him and see what's going on. So Witty and I talked over the weekend, and I was like, dude, you have to apply for you need to apply for a media credential from the State House, because I think they would have a hard time kicking you out of an event being put on by a state senator if you show up and you have a green State House media credentials. So I was like, yeah, they might try it still. I don't know. I mean, I've never had anybody push me on it yet. I'm sure it's coming. But I've been so far specifically since having that. Yes, fake press credentials, Catherine, and the bullshit on both sides of it. People trying to keep people out of things with and without it, and with it, and everything in between, and all the nonsense. So you have press credentials. It's the First Amendment. The First Amendment is your press credentials, Catherine. That's what I was just telling everybody before you got here. So they kicked him out of this, and I was telling him, I was like, hey, you need to push for this, and you need to request these credentials. And I sent him the link or whatever, and so he did like straight away. He applied for it, and he sent it in, and then I was thumbing around through Facebook, and or maybe I don't know if I was on Facebook or Twitter, because he mostly does things on Twitter, but he's also on Facebook, and so I was just kind of doing what I do, and I noticed that he posted a picture of an email that he received, and he said, what did he say under it? Let me see. I want to get this right. He said, in the last 24 hours, APRA request denied. So his request for records was denied. Media credentials denied. And I was like, what? And then he wrote down below it, how the hell does Gabe Whitley get press pass and we, meaning Indie Reporter, don't? And I completely forgot about all of that. I completely forgot that they somehow gave Gabe Whitley press credentials. And when I read that, I was like, oh my God, that literally makes me want to cut mine up and send it back. Like Stumblefoot was absolutely 1,000% correct. Like fake press credentials 100%. Because if Gabe Whitley has it, then it means absolutely nothing. Nothing. It's ridiculous. So I click on this picture that he posted, because that was his words. In the last 24 hours, APRA request denied, media credentials denied. How the hell does Gabe Whitley get a press pass and we don't? So then I clicked the email, and this was the email. I'm going to put this up here so you guys can see this too. This was his email that he posted up there. And it's going to be hard to see, but I'll read it to you. Historically, media credentials and access requests have been approved based on a vetting process confirming the requestee is media personnel employed by, look at these words, employed by a recognized media outlet. For clarification, the Indiana Department of Administration, IDOA, defines media as any newspaper or periodical of general circulation, book publishers, news wire service, or radio or television stations, including individuals who own, publish, or are employed by such entities. These outlets, in the ordinary course of business, publish news articles, editorials, commentary, and or paid advertisements. The request form provided does not specify a media outlet defined above. After careful review, both Brian Renner, IDOA Deputy Commissioner over Operations, and I have denied this request. And then he cut the name off there, but he put the main part of it in there. And I read that and I was like, dude, how? I was like, you have to appeal this. And we were talking about different things. I said, hey, let me reach out and talk to an attorney that I know and see if maybe this attorney will write you something up that you can send back and appeal, because I'm telling you, 100% indie reporter deserves one of these press credentials. Okay? Just, it is what it is. Okay? He deserves one. Their organization deserves a press passes, whatever. Okay? From the state surrounding that. He covers that. He's in the state house. He's around these people. He's talking to them, and he's getting traction. So I fully believe that he deserves it. And we were talking about different things. Well, so he was talking to Rob Kendall, and we were going back and forth on stuff. Now, I want you guys to listen to this, okay? Knew I was going to do that again.
Plans completely. They may not know they're having guests.
Okay, very
That's
good.
how we roll.
All right, we got a little audience participation here, Casey. This feels very wrong, what's happening, and I think our audience might be willing to step up and help out a friend of the show.
Yeah.
So our old pal, Indie Reporter, and we love Indie Reporter. Provides great. He and his merry band of misfits, Stephen Whitmer and the group at Indie Reporter, provide great information on Indiana politics and government to the masses. At Indie_Reporter_. And I don't know what they do for jobs. I don't know much about them. They just are they're like elves. They just pour through government documents all day, every day, and they post them up. And a lot of the stuff we've gotten on this show recently, stuff that they find, they do it at no charge. They post it to the public. They're not trying to make any money. They just have an interest in the government. And a lot of people follow them, and everybody should. So Stephen, because he has done such a good job, and the Indie Reporter team has done such a good job going through documents, etc., he applied for a press pass for the State House this year with the upcoming special session, and or not,
absolutely Stumblefoot,
but the redistricting stuff, and then you got the regular session going to start. And he said, I would like to be there, so I may better provide information to the masses. Now, we can agree on this, that these people at Indie Reporter, they do a lot of coverage of government, right?
They do.
Don't have a website. They just do it on Twitter, which is becoming a more and more common thing these days of people using their social media to provide information to the public at large. So he applied for this
media credential.
Yeah. Now, the State House, the way the State House works, is anybody...
I also want to stop him here and tell everybody he does 2 shows a week, a show on Saturday night and a show on Tuesday night, a live show on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. It's produced, it goes out, and, it's got people who listen.
Can walk into the State House. It doesn't mean that if you don't get a media credential, you can't walk into the State House, but you are afforded certain privileges, etc., when you have a credential to be media in the State House. Like when we had our public gathering for the property tax rally, anybody could come to that. Anybody could watch that. They weren't stopping people from coming in. But there's ways you go in, things you can set up, all sorts of things. And I thought, okay, this is going to be a complete no-brainer. It'll be great for the public at large that they'll be able to be there. They'll be able to send people there. And they denied them a media credential.
Okay, did they miss something on the form?
Well, here's
Because
the
you go
email.
through the IDOA, which is the Indiana Department of Administration.
That's right, yes.
And all media requests for information or interviews must be requested through the Director of Communications.
That's right.
Through the IDOA. Media badge requests, you request a badge, plus there's a $10 fee for it, by the way.
Sure.
Did their check bounce, or did they not fill out the request form properly?
Well, I'll read you the email. And I want to preface this by saying that the state of Indiana, allegedly, I mean, he posted pictures of it at one point and claimed he had it, gave a press pass to convicted felon Gabe Whitley.
Okay.
Gabe Whitley was at our property
insane.
tax rally. Remember that?
I forgot all about that.
In the
something.
perch. Everybody was
Yeah.
keeping a very close eye on him. But at that point, I believe Gabe Whitley, while I'm not sure, yes, had he been sentenced? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know if he had been sentenced yet, but
No.
I believe he had pled guilty by that point. And I think he was facing the state charges against Abdul, which he is still currently facing, which is why I believe he still finds himself in the Marion County Jail. So they let that guy, according to him, and that website that he put up, have a press pass.
Right.
But they were telling Stephen and the Indie Reporter Group, who every day provides pertinent, relevant, studied, broken down information on government and government documents, that they're not allowed to have a press pass. Gabe Whitley was deemed worthy to be in the State House,
But not
Indie Reporter.
Yeah.
Advertisements.
Okay.
The request form provided does not specify a media outlet as defined above. After careful review, both Brian Renner, IDOA Deputy Commissioner over Operations, and I have denied this request.
Okay.
So according to the state of Indiana,
Yeah.
convicted felon, who I believe the press release had come out that he had pled guilty by the time our property tax rally, et cetera, Gabe Whitley was allowed to have one of these, but Stephen and the Indie Reporter Group, who haven't harmed anyone, they're not on the run from the law of any sort, they're not endangering their fellow man, they don't get anything. And you know why they're not giving it to them? Because they don't like what they put out.
Yeah.
They don't
That's
like
a good
that they
question,
give the dirt and
Stumblefoot.
the information, plow through these documents to give you information so you can know how corrupt and rotten your government actually is.
Did they just say outright no to him, or did somebody contact him and vet him?
Well, this is an email.
Because it says, once submitted, an authorized representative from the IDOA will review your request and forward it to the Access Control Office.
Well, I've read you the email that was
Yeah.
sent to him. So here's what we need to
So
do.
they're not considering an independent journalist media credential worthy.
Well, certainly not one that gives you the information. And it's not about whether you like the guy's
That's
politics
what
or the
it
people or
is.
their
They
politics or their
don't
views
like
or whatever.
Stephen.
The fact is, on a daily basis, any person with an IQ above 7 can look at that account and realize the majority of
Because
their time is
keep in
spent
mind,
post-
I got mine when Holcomb was still in office. And for whatever turd Holcomb was, the people in the IDOA's office weren't so they realized, like, oh yeah, your media, you get one of these. Since Braun's been in, he's really been ratcheting it down. Okay.
government documents
So
and
listen to
government
what-
information and providing. They do more than most media outlets in the city do in terms of
That's what happened here.
information. No, you don't have to like them. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to celebrate them. You don't have to invite them over to your enhanced price Thanksgiving dinner. But the idea that they're not doing valuable work that other media is using, by the way, and not just us, they get mentioned on other people on this radio station, etc. But you'll let Gabe Whitley in. So here's what we need to do. I need a favor from the WIBC audience because many of you know and like Stephen, and he's been a contributor to this show in the past, and we mentioned him quite a bit. We need to contact Molly K. Temperman and demand that the
That's
Indie
right,
Reporter be given
Kate.
a media credential to cover the upcoming legislative session. That sounds
So he
reasonable, right?
wants what? Access to the Senate floor. Is that it?
Well, I don't know. He just wants whatever the media is allowed to have. He says,
Okay.
I
Just
would like to be,
access that
a
everyone
part of
else
what-
in
I guess
media
by
would
the Gabe
have.
Whitley standard, he just needs to buy a domain name and throw
Right.
it on a
Well,
domain.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe he just needs a website, right?
I mean, is that the standard, Molly K. Temperman?
That's the question.
That
What
if-
is the standard?
If he
then?
just starts a ridiculous website with all sorts of untruths on it, then you'll just give it to him? I mean, is that what we're saying? And it just
That's
what
the
is
problem
a
I'm
GoDaddy
having.
account now? $10? I don't
How
know.
are they
Well, by that
picking and
standard, you could
choosing?
say that anybody with a Twitter account then could be considered media. I think that's what.
Okay, but they've already set the
IDOA
precedence of letting a convicted felon
Gabe Whitley.
who ended up going to federal prison. You and I were both there, right? We remember this event. In which
Yeah,
he was,
I believe that was in September. That's when that happened. Yeah.
No, he was in prison in the spring. Maybe got out then. He
Are
was,
you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And we'll have to go back and look at the date. The point is, he went to the federal pokey. He's currently in the Marion County pokey. Last I do. And he maybe about to go to a state pokey, depending on how that criminal
I'm
charge
betting that
goes.
his media badge was revoked.
Well, the point is they knew or should have known most of this stuff when they gave it to him. So here's the contact info. You can just take 2 minutes for old pal Stephen, and you can contact.
So Rob put out the office's phone number, their email address, and asked people to contact these people. Okay. And then that was right towards the end of the show. And then right at the end of the show, then Rob had this to say. Listen to this. This is the follow-up to that.
Take me home
Did you send your email?
Apparently, there's a lot of people that do listen to this show.
Yeah.
I mean, we're told nobody listens, but apparently the Department of Administration is getting a flood of inquiries based on our most recent segment. So if you missed it, our old pal Steven from Indie Reporter, who does great work digging, and the staff there's a bunch of merry anonymous misfits that don't dare peek their head out of the ground, who go through all those documents. And, look, I don't agree with all Steven's opinions on stuff. And sometimes he'll say things like, whoa, I don't know. But in terms of finding government documents and going through them and doing the work and letting people know what's going on, that Indie Reporter account does a lot of great work. They had applied for this press or media badge or whatever it's called for the upcoming session because, hey, redistricting, all this stuff going on. We'd like to be there in the person. And you'd think if the standard is letting convicted federal felon Gabe Whitley have a pass, which he claimed they did, and he was there doing various alleged media activities, you can't go much lower than that guy. And then for some reason, they denied the Indie Reporter. Now, we know why they did that. They don't like him. They don't like his politics. They don't like that he gives information that we and others use.
They don't like him digging into
No, they don't. So they denied
spending
him.
money.
We read the email that they sent him, which was ridiculous. It was from, what's her name here? Her name was Molly K. Temperman. And so then we said everyone should write and call and demand that they give Stephen and the Indie Reporter crew a press pass. Look, by all accounts, I'm not aware of any felonious activity that any of those people are involved in. Not that it would matter.
And this is just 20 minutes
but he's not on
since that last
post
segment.
office anywhere. They're not causing disturbances. They're not owing large amounts of money to the government, state or federal. Like they're hopping over all the, I guess, standards. And so, by the way, if you'd like to send your, I'm going to read my letter that I just sent here. You can email mediarelations@idoa.in.gov. That's mediarelations@idoa.in.gov. Or you can call Molly K. Temperman directly. Now, this is her public phone number. This is not personal. This is what she lists on her
work number.
emails.
Yeah.
Call me here. 317-522-9631. 317-522-9631. And demand to know why convicted federal felon Gabe Whitley allegedly got a press credential. And
Indie Reporter.
yeah, just and let them know. So here's the email that I sent. If you'd like a little
Here's
boilerplate,
what Rob sent.
for what you might do yourself. To whom it may concern.
Even though your name.
Well, I don't know. Maybe someone else is reading it. I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe Molly has a large staff.
Sure.
And,
that we're paying for.
I didn't want him to not read it because it's addressed to Molly.
Right.
I am inquiring why Stephen Whitmer and the Indie Reporter staff were denied a press pass. I would particularly like to know what standard convicted federal felon and currently facing state charges Gabe Whitley met to receive a press pass this past year that Stephen and Indie Reporter did not. As a member of the media, Stephen and Indie Reporter regularly provide information used by other media figures and outlets in the city. I am one. I would strongly encourage you to reconsider and grant them media access.
I think I found the problem. Read the line about regularly provide.
Oh, yes. I said, let's see. Well, let me pull this back up here. I'd clicked out of it. Hang on here. Let's see. As a member of the media, Stephen and Indie Reporter regularly provide information used by other media figures and outlets in the city. I am one.
That's why.
Oh.
That's it.
So if you'd like to, I'm not saying make these people's lives difficult, but, politely yet firmly urge them to do the right thing. You can call Molly K. Temperman again at 317-522-9631.
Check.
Or you can email mediarelations@idoa.in.gov and ask, why are you cutting off access to our state house from people who are clearly
They love it when people
providing
die.
information to the public? And the biggest question of all is, how did Gabe Whitley get a press pass?
Right.
What standard could these people possibly?
Well, this went off the air at noon today, and I, ladies and gentlemen, am happy to give, I call it breaking news. They've talked about it. They've posted about it. It's out, so it's not breaking, but it's breaking before Rob gets it. Rob will probably talk about it tomorrow morning, but I'm getting it out there before Rob. I am happy to tell you that probably 30 minutes after the Kendall and Casey show went off air, Whitty got the following email. And the email goes like this. Good afternoon, Stephen. The IDOA portion of the credential and access request for the media forum has been completed and attached here as an approval for you. To receive the media badge, you will sign this form when you go to the access control office to have your photo taken and your badge created. The office is open from 7:30 a.m. until 3:30 p.m., Monday through Friday. There is a $10 charge for all new media badges, cash and check only. Thank you. That is exactly what they're doing, Kate. They're trying to make it sound like it was just not done. They just hadn't got to it. And they sent him, Well, and let me tell you this, and I'm not going to go any further. I don't know anything further, but I'm sure Steven will cover this on his Saturday show. Prior to getting this email, Whitmer got a phone call where they were upset because of the number of phone calls that they were getting. Oh, he's there. Now, I'm not trying to bust your story there, Whitty. And you're free to obviously tell it how you want to tell it. I'm happy because the reason I'm talking about this is as this boiled my blood as somebody in the world of doing the same thing as you and I and many others. This is a major issue for me. This is a major First Amendment thing. I'm pissed off that you were thrown out of Senator Goad's listening session. I think that was a bunch of bullshit. And I don't like how they do that. J.D. Prescott is very horrible. Matter of fact, that's what kind of brought my dear friend and fellow political spotlight person, Brandon Rudd. That's what brought us together because he was at J.D. Prescott event. And J.D. Prescott was like threatening him, saying, you better not be taking pictures and you better not be recording video and you better not be recording me on this public ground at this public meeting. And it was just ridiculous. J.D. Prescott's tried to have him thrown out and all kinds of other people thrown out of these same events, public third house events. It's like, dude, you're ridiculous. And so I absolutely love that you were able to get this. I am so happy that Rob talked about it on air and got the power of the phone calls and the emails behind, and the fact that they're talking about this like, oh, well, we just weren't done yet. We just weren't done, and it's all ready now, and everything's cool. The same guy, it'll be interesting to see. You'll have to let me know when you go in. Hey, when are you going in? When are you going in to get this? You better go in tomorrow. If you can go in tomorrow, you need to go in tomorrow. You need to go in and get it in your hand before they change their mind. Okay, next week. Wait a minute. Is it? Oh, well, yeah, tomorrow's Friday. Never mind. Well, all right. Yeah, next week's probably safe. Well, you'll have to remind me, let me know, call me or text me and let me know when you go in. The guy that works the picture taker, he's a cool dude. I don't know what his name is. Blonde haired dude. Looks like he's in his 30s, a little bit of scruff. He was a pretty cool dude. I sat and talked with him. It's like he's just down there pressing buttons and doing the thing. I think it's out of his hands, but he was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm happy that they gave you this, that they saw the light and changed their minds for whatever the reason was. I'm glad they finally finished this portion of it and decided to give it to you. Definitely a good thing. And I am so happy that you won out here. Now, again, as I was telling everybody at the beginning, when anybody, the first thing I always tell when somebody wants to know where my press credentials or my media credentials or what allows me to be where I'm at, I always just rattle off the First Amendment and say, what, is that not good enough for you? So that's I've got that around here somewhere. I've got a card. I used to carry it, but I think it might be in the car, and it says press credentials. And then underneath it has in gold writing the First Amendment. And so that's that I always keep that. I always keep that with mine. They'll give you this handy dandy little plastic thing when you get it. And so that's really cool. That I was like, damn, that's worth the $10 right there. Just that plastic thing that they give you. So hey, it really worked out. The First Amendment came through, and the power of getting the message out and the power of having people a call to action seems like it helped out today. And a good guy was able to get, I guess, what was needed to do the job. And I can't wait to see everything that will come from this. As I said at the beginning of this, I think I'm going to go down the first week of session, and I think I'm going to get a hotel in Indy and just be there every day and watch what goes on during this crazy shit for redistricting, because I think it's very, very important, and everybody deserves to have a full understanding of what's going on, because it's such a joke. And it's going to be so weird, because I fully believe that they don't have the votes for the redistricting, and it's going to be interesting to see how they make it happen. How they make it. I can't wait to get kicked out of another good listening session. I love it. I love it. What you've got to do now is it's kind of like collecting baseball cards or like Pokemon or whatever. Now you've got to start getting kicked out of, like, we see how many different people's events we can get kicked out of. Like, I've been kicked out of Lincoln Days. I've been banned from Lincoln Days. I've been arrested at meetings. I've been kicked out of a couple different meetings. And then sometimes I've been able to fight back. So, those don't really count because you're able to push back. But yeah, you kind of got, it's like a notch in your gun handle to see how many different events you get kicked out of. But I'm happy about this. This was a win for the First Amendment. Kicked out of Lincoln Days. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. Well, so here's what happened. Because I said plural. So basically, one Lincoln Day I showed up to, and they told me, we're sorry, but you being part of media. This is what's funny, is this happened in 2020. At the end of 2020, maybe in 2021. It was either 2020 or 2021. Might have been 21 because of COVID. They didn't have one. It might have been 21. And they were like, this is a party event, and since you're media, you can't be here. And I'm like, wait a minute. You claim all the time that nobody listens to me and I'm an idiot and I've got no reach and nobody follows any of this and that I'm nobody. And then now you're claiming I can't be here because I'm somebody. So it's like, you can't have it both ways. So that was one of them. And then the next one, a man and a woman were going to go to a Lincoln Day. The woman was running for office and her husband was helping her, and they wanted to go and they bought their tickets and they wanted me to go as their guest. And they bought their tickets and they bought my ticket. And when they bought the tickets, the person that was selling the tickets told them that they needed to give a name for everybody that was going. And they gave their two names and they gave my name. And the person sold the tickets and that was it. And then, like, a little bit later, they got an email back saying, we're sorry, but we're going to refund your money for the third ticket because he cannot come because he is a person, because he's media, he can't be here. And those people were like, wait a minute, what? So they ended up saying, well, screw that, refund his money, but refund ours too, because we're not going to, you don't get our money and we're not going. If we can't bring a guest, then, you're not going to get our money too. So they ended up losing, I think total paid like $300 or $400 for everything. Cause she was a candidate for a state representative seat. So, That was interesting. And then I've been kicked out of Winchester meeting, arrested in Winchester meeting. I was kicked out of Madison County meeting. They handcuffed and taken out into the hallway and arrested and released out there. I'm still waiting on hearing back on that Stumblefoot. Everything else was going on right in the middle of that, so I'm waiting to hear back on that. But this, knowing Madison County, they might boot him for life. Absolutely. So this was a win, a good way to win, a good way to end the week with a win. And look, I want to say this because I don't really know that I've ever given a big shout out and sent people over that way. I want to be really clear because I think that this is a good, definitely good. I know I've talked about them on the program before, but I don't think I've ever said anything really about the YouTube. So I want to do that. I want to let you guys know. If any of you are on Twitter, you should take this opportunity that you get to go to Twitter and to go to it's Indie_reporter_. So at Indie_reporter_. Indie Reporter on TikTok, Twitter. This is the page here. And they've got a lot of great content here, a lot of great content. If you don't have Twitter and you want to follow them on Facebook, they are on Facebook as well. The Facebook account is newer. They just recently went to the Facebook account, but you can find them on Facebook. They are on Facebook just as Indie Reporter on Facebook, so you can go and you can follow them there. But, and this is most important, on Tuesdays, you can find them on, if you're still here, Stephen, post your link to your shows, if you can, or any of your links would be good. Because I'm a little confused. So on Tuesdays at 8 p.m., so it's actually, you don't have to miss this show. You can go watch Stevens at 8, and then he goes off at 9, and then bam, I'm on. So amazing. You can find that. I don't know where he does the Tuesday shows. I don't know if it's on Witty Review. Tuesday and Saturday is the Witty Review, both at 8 p.m. Now, is that in YouTube? Can they find that on YouTube? I'm pretty sure both on YouTube. Okay, both on YouTube. And so, yeah. On YouTube, if you just go to YouTube, it's very simple. His last show it's Witty Reviews Entry Denied. If you're interested in hearing him tell this story, where are you from? Where are you from, Stephen? What's the accent you got? I can't tell where you're from. You're not from here. You got a very distinct accent, and I can't place where it's from. I got a Chicago. Yeah, Chicago. I guess that's what it is. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I didn't want to say that and sound all.
We talked about the Three Kings article like a month or so ago.
You can hear
that. David Roberts ended up stepping down.
That makes sense.
And then Andrew, I think it was Andrew or something.
Chicagoans and the region people talk like Muppets. Tell me if this is not true, Winnie. You know what I'm talking about. They talk like Muppets. You don't have any of this here. The whole head opens. The whole head opens up like this when they talk. And so everything is that's why the vowels are so like, that's what it sounds like. Cause that's what the whole region up in there is like. That's
and Kozak, he ended up replacing him. But
Yeah.
same thing, and ties to Crane Naval, which remember
yeah.
has
So
to
go check this out. This is Witty Reviews. The DAS, yes, yeah. Absolutely. We'll have to have him on sometime and talk and run everybody off. It'll be great. You can go find this. You can find it by looking up Witty Reviews, or just simply by going to Stephen with a PH. So STEPHEN, Stephen Whitmer, and follow it. Now, look, it's not like he's one of those guys that you got to like it and subscribe. And then 2 weeks later, you got to like and subscribe a new account because he's got kicked off and banned. And then a month later, he's got another account because he's been kicked off and banned. He's one of those guys, and which is great. I love it. But it's a little bit of work to stay connected, but they do a lot of good job. They do a great job over there. I like what they do. And I like the passion, and I like the humor, a lot of great humor. And there would definitely be a lot of crossover. A lot of you people would love this content. If you're not already watching it, you're probably already watching it, but if you're not, you should head over there and watch it. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us tonight. I know I told you it was just kind of going to be a weird show and a free association thing. Didn't have a whole lot going on, but wanted to share that story, and that was a win. Started off like it was going to be a loss and it was going to be a big deal, but had to kind of had to keep you tricked that way, and then boom, it was a win at the end. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. Please go check that out, subscribe, do all that shit. If you haven't done that here, make sure that you do. We want you to do everything here as well. Be sure to give us that like and subscribe if you haven't, all that shit. Thank you. Share the show with everyone you know. Help spread the word. And we will be back Sunday night with episode 554, back here at 9 p.m. Sunday night. If you want to know what goes on over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, follow the social medias. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and everywhere else in between. We will see you back here Sunday at 9 p.m. You guys take care. God bless. Have a good weekend. And that's it. Good night.